we're just about here. Well, welcome everybody to this teeny little room that we're not supposed to be in. Not that I'm bitter or anything. Not that I'm going to moan about it later. Like I said, no refreshments unfortunately because they have commandeered everything that we would normally use. But has everyone had a good week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as much enthusiasm as I've got. That's the enthusiasm that we like here, isn't it?
Did you say up and down?
Life is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So we have Rosie and Anne with us today. I am very, very grateful for them turning up and coming and being here with us tonight, even if half our congregation has wandered past thinking that we're not on tonight.
Oh. Never mind.
But like you said, the ones that are supposed to be here will be here, and the ones that want to come through, Spirit upstairs know what's going on anyway, and they know who's going to be here and who's going to make it and who isn't.
They do.
I wish they'd warned me ahead of time that I was going to be stuck at those traffic lights earlier. That would have been great. Would have liked that, you know. Spiritual sat nav would have been amazing, but unfortunately we don't get that in life. It would be fun if we did. But yeah, I'm just going to ask if one of you lovely ladies might like to just open for us. You can do opening prayer or just whatever you feel like doing. We are free. We like to say we're free range here, so you can work however you wish to work.
I should have brought my basket, picked up the eggs then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's lovely. So can I ask you to go into the quiet with me just for a moment or two, please? Divine Spirit, Heavenly Father, we come together tonight in the name of love, your name. And we ask that each of us here are touched by that love. Each of us can feel the wonderful spiritual energy that is now beginning to flow through this room. And I ask for a blessing on all our world in general, actually. It's in great need at this moment. But can we ask especially for those who are homeless, those who have no food, no shelter, and it's not just in our own country, it's all over the world. We always ask for peace, we know, and we also know that it would take an awful lot for peace throughout the world, but we can perhaps ask for peace in our little part of the world, and maybe with ripples it will go out a little bit. So can I also ask a blessing on our animal kingdom? Our animals who give us so much unconditional love, please let us return it to them in the same way. And now I ask that both Rosie and I may be used as your channels this evening, and that everything that is said and done is done in your name, in love, in light and in truth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Come on then, troublemaker. Come.
All right, thank you.
You all know the drill by now. I've got our healing book here. We've got a lot of names in it, so I'm assuming that everyone's having a little bit of a tough time at the moment. So once I've read out the healing list, if you could just take a moment just to visualise them in better circumstances than they are now. Just send them loving light and healing. I've said it once, I'll say it again. You can do this however you want to do it. You can imagine them in a bubble of light. You can imagine them just looking happier. If it's someone that you know, you can imagine them with a big smile on their face, like they're feeling happier. Or you can imagine it like one of my friends does when she's sending out healing, like it's the Care Bears, you know, when that's how one of my friends imagines it. So you can do it however it works. It's the intention and the thought behind it that matters, not how you do it. Great Spirit, as we move into this time of festivities and family, we ask that special healing, love and light goes out to those who might not be as fortunate or in as good health, both mental and physical, as we are. We ask that healing and energy goes out to all those in need and those listed below. The healing list is Yvonne, Jan, AC, Darren, Karen, Brian, Elaine, Sarah, Joe, Anita, Carol, Caroline, Roy, Maureen, Jenny, Brian and Alison. So like I said, if you could just take a moment just picture them in better circumstances and a little bit happier than they are, that would be lovely. That's wonderful, thank you. She's got a very small little reading here tonight that my daughter actually picked out for me earlier. So I sent her on a mission and I think she's come back successful. It's by a lady called Teresa, and she was saying, walking out of the spiritualist church, I felt a tap on my shoulder. Turning around, I saw the medium who'd been giving messages standing in front of me. You have a gift, she said. You should join us in circle. Oh, okay, I stammered, keen to get away. I raced after my friends. Are you going to join the psychic circle, my friends asked. Of course not, I scoffed. Truth be told, I knew I had a psychic gift, but at 18 years old, I was very frightened by it. Instead, I got on with my life, I got married, had 3 children, and joined the police force. About 8 years ago, I found a lump on my neck. It was removed, but it took a steep toll on my health. All of a sudden, I felt sick and exhausted all the time. My doctor said that I might need further surgery. I went for Reiki healing, and the healer said she had a message. Don't have another operation, she said, you'll be fine. That night, I woke up with a feeling of a hand on my neck. I could hear the sound of what sounded like a choir of angels singing in the background. 2 weeks later, I went to the hospital for a routine checkup, only to discover that there was nothing there in my neck. I didn't need another operation. However, my health was still poor, and I was struggling with the rigours of a fast-paced job, and decided to hand in my notice. My marriage was breaking up too. The future looked uncertain, but around this time, I also had a reading with a well-known psychic, and she told me that I had healing work to do. I realised that Spirit was pointing me in this direction. The lump, the decision to leave the police, the reawakening of my psychic gift, it was all part of their plan. I moved into a new home with my kids and started to learn Reiki, healing with a spiritualist medium. It was amazing how quickly I developed and how easily I could communicate with Spirit. I'm now a Reiki master, spiritual teacher and psychic medium, and the Spirit have been there to guide me through every single step of this process. They tell me what to do on a daily basis. They even told me to set up a Facebook page. I make my own runes with all symbols and meanings given by Spirit. I've written my own Reiki manuals, workshops on spirit development, again, all by using my connection with Spirit. My main discipline, though, is healing. I practice energetic hands-on healing, using herbs and crystals and my own powers. My new partner, John, supports me in my work. We two were pushed together by Spirit. It could have been scary getting a lump in my neck and facing an uncertain future as a single mum, but it was all part of my journey. Spirit needed to push me to where I am now, and I'm very glad they did. So a few people have asked me things like, does spiritual healing work? Like, how does it work? I can't say how it works. I can just say that I know it does work. And I've spoken to quite a few people that have said they've got stories just like that. One of my friends, she was coming out of a concert a few months ago in Birmingham, and she was attacked on the street, and she was left with a cracked head and bleeding on the brain and broken nose, eyes. She was basically left for dead on the floor. And the doctors told her that she might have brain damage. They told us that she might need operations. She might need all this extra help. She had one operation, but they said the night that it happened, but they said that they might need to do more and everything else. One of her best friend came onto Facebook and basically rallied the troops and said, right, we need as much healing to be sent to her as possible. Just bam it out. Just everyone do it in your own way, however you do it, as much healing as you can for her. And 3 days later, we got the news that the bleeding had completely vanished. The doctors have no idea how it vanished. They had no idea how it had gone when that's not something that they've ever seen happen before. And that was just from the power of people coming together, sending out healing energy and sending out as much as they possibly can, which is one of the reasons that we do a healing book. And sometimes I just like to read out little stories like that, just as a little bit of hope sometimes for people. So that's me done. I don't know if you've got an address or if you want to talk about anything or just go straight into work. It's up to you. Again, we're free range. You can do what you want.
Just continue with healing. Rosie's
Yes.
become a fully qualified healer.
Wonderful, lovely.
Yeah.
So
And I've got another good news story about healing, actually. My best friend, I've been best friends with her since we were 11, so imagine that's quite a few years, at least 20. And no, I'm a grandma, it's a lot more than that. And she got a brain tumour about 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And it was very aggressive. She had a fit and she got taken into hospital. And they cut as much as they could out. And they gave her radiotherapy and chemotherapy, and the doctor said it's not going to go away. It's very aggressive. It's going to take you. And I gave her healing several times a week, hands-on healing. And at the end of her chemo, she had as much as she could. and her body was quite weak then, and she said she went in for a scan to see what was there, and they said, don't get your hopes up, and it was totally clear. And but unfortunately, they said it would come. Oh well, it's going to come back in a few years. Well, she had another 10 or 12 years before it came back, and we did try again, but her body was still weak from the last time, and she passed this year. So
sorry to hear that.
But
It's never easy,
yeah,
is it?
in the end, I was rather. Actually, I knew she wasn't going to be with us, so I was just asking for a peaceful transition.
Yeah.
And at least she got that. So
That is something that we say to people. We sometimes say spiritual healing, and the healing that we send out, it's not a cure, but sometimes it can help, even if it's just a transition, by making it easier. One of my friend's mum had cancer, and it was her third time having it. And I made sure that I was sending out healing. We was putting her in a healing book, and she'd actually joined like a yoga class and a mindfulness class at the same time. And she said that that time when she was going through it, she said she felt like she had someone holding her hand the entire way through, which even just that knowledge made it easier to get through the chemo, even if it didn't act as a cure. So I don't think you can ever underestimate the power and the potential, and the comfort of it as well.
Yeah. I mean, an uncle of mine, we were at a family funeral. We've got quite a big family, so we had quite a few funerals. So we were there, and there's two of us just standing in the huddle, and he kept going, I said, whatever's the matter with you? He said, I've got a backache. So I said, he says, I can't get rid of it, it's been there ages. So I just put my hand on it and carried on talking to him, didn't think anything about it. And about 6 weeks later, the lady who worked for him rang me, and she said, I don't know if you remember me. She said, I'm Joy, I work with your uncle, with Jed. So I said, oh yeah. So she said, well, you told me you cured his backache. I said, did I? So she said, yeah, you cured his backache. So she said, oh, I've got really bad knees. Will you come and do my knees? That's how it all starts, you see.
Yep.
So I said, well, I will, but I can't guarantee that you're going to get the same as he did.
Yep.
Obviously, it was meant to be healed, but others were healed as well. And then I suppose it was probably about 5 years later, another family funeral. And one of my uncles was really moaning about his shoulder. It was really, really hurting him. So Jed looked at me and he said, here, go put your hands on his shoulder. So he said, what has she got to do that for? He said, you just let her put her hands on your shoulder. So I did. Oh, that's lovely, Mom, he said. Beautiful. And then it started, I went round the whole flipping place, didn't I?
I was going to say, it gets to the point where they start queuing up for it, don't they?
I've got a bad elbow, you know.
It's like being a doctor when everyone asks you to look at the lump, isn't it?
Yeah, but then he said to me, again, my uncle, after he dropped me in it there, he said, just put your hand on my throat. I said, well, you want me to throttle you? So, he was only 5 years older than me anyway. So he put my hand there. And then a fortnight later, I had a phone call from him. And he said, you've done it again, haven't you? I said, what have I done now? So he said, did you know that I had cancer of the throat? I said, no, how would I know that? You didn't tell me. He said, well, it's gone. And they can't understand how it's gone. Because he's got the x-rays, they've got everything there to show it, but it's gone now.
Something they should study, but they won't, because science...
Well, some of them are. Some hospitals are actually allowing healers in, which I think is good.
That's very, very good. It's very good.
Because it helps to calm the patient before they have to have anything done.
Definitely.
It also helps for the medication to work fast if they can't. You know, so... Can I do? I suppose I'm standing up, so I suppose I better start.
oh, you might as well, yeah.
You drafted yourself there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. So right. So good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm Anne, as a duo. That's Rosie and I'm Anne. Okay. I'm not clairsentient.
Yes, you are.
Well, I am, but you know, yes, I am clairsentient. I'm not clairvoyant. I mean, sorry, I'm not clairvoyant and I'm not clairaudient. And you know the difference, don't you? Yes, that's right. I am clairsentient, yes. But I think, actually, I am also, same as you, we are clairvoyant and clairaudient, but we see it in our minds.
Yep.
So that's the way we get it, you know. So everything comes to me as a thought process. And I know Rose is just about the same.
Yeah.
So it all comes in as a thought process, and that's what I pass to you. But they do show me, and they do tell me, but I don't like to mislead you, because if I said, oh, I can see with you, you might think there's somebody sitting on the chair next to you. And some people would frighten the life out of them, to be honest, if they thought somebody was sitting on the chair, wouldn't they? So
you know, I don't want to mislead you, so I do like to tell you that, okay? So what I want from you all is yes, no, or I don't know, I'm not sure, okay? And if it is no, don't be afraid to say no. You won't upset either of us by saying no, but you might upset somebody in the spirit world if you give the wrong answer, okay? So yes, no, or I'm not sure, okay? I don't want that, or that. Use your mouth. You know, they took the time and trouble to come to talk to you, so please can you respond to them with your voice, okay? Yeah? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. That's better. Now, have you asked loved ones to come tonight?
Oh,
Should we
no.
go there?
Yeah.
Should we
Go back to
try again,
healing,
shall we? Who's asked their loved ones to come tonight? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's better. That's much better. Okay, so now we've got somebody to work with, haven't we? Because if you haven't invited them, we won't have anybody to work with. And we'll end up going home early, wouldn't we? Cup of tea and off we go. All right? Okay, so I know Rosie's the same as me. I don't get anything till I stand up and I start. You know, I always envied mediums who say, on the way here, I had a man in the car with me, and he was telling me this. And then, when I was in meditation this morning, I got up thinking, why do I never get any of that?
No, I don't get it
I
either.
never ever got any of that.
Once.
Until I
only.
stood up, and then that's it. Then they come in. When they think I'm ready, they'll come forward, okay? So we don't really have a choice, do we? They come in when they're ready. So, okay, so you know what you've got to do then?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep.
And we know what we've got to do.
They're all very well trained.
That's
I've spent a lot of time on these people.
I'm glad about that. You'd be surprised how many are not.
Oh, yeah.
How many are not, you know. So, okay. And never be afraid to say yes, no, or I don't know. We'll be quite happy because I'll just go back and tell them to sort themselves out. Come on, so we understand what you're talking about. All right? Okay. Can I come to you, sir, please?
You can.
Right. I have with you, I've got a lady coming in here, and she's coming in full of love for you. And I can feel her arms already circling around you, sweetheart, okay? Now, she's not telling me at the moment who she is. I don't get names. Very rarely. If I get them, I'll give them to you, okay? But this lady would have passed over quite, at the end, she says quite quickly at the end. She passed peacefully at the end, is what she's saying, yes?
Okay.
But there was a little bit of a build-up for it, because she was quite poorly before she passed away. You can understand this lady, can you, sweetheart? Okay, I know you're very close to her, because she's telling me that, and she said you helped her a great deal, yes?
Right, okay.
Yes, that's right. And she's saying, you know, she said, I don't know what I would have done without him. Because you were the one that kept her sane at times, you know. At times, you know, as I said at times, when she was feeling really down, you would find the right words for her. Does that make sense to you? So many other people came to see me, and they'd just sit and cry. And she said, that didn't help me at all, did it, if they're crying? So she said, but you treated me as though I was normal, which I was normal. Because I got an illness doesn't mean that you can't talk to me. You understand what she's saying to you? So she wants to say thank you so much for all that you did for her. A lovely, lovely lady. She feels like a partner, but your mum is also in his spirit world, isn't she?
No.
She's here. This must be your mum's mum then, I've got.
Okay.
Yeah, your grandmother. You knew her, I hope.
Yeah.
That's good. Because you'd be surprised how many say, no, I don't know, I didn't know. But she's saying, you know, all right. She says you were a cheeky little boy. Actually, your grandmother's saying to you. Your grandmother? Yes?
Okay,
Can you accept that?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Fair enough. That's what she saw. You were a cheeky little boy, she said. But, you know, she said, but you've always been quite a knowing little boy as well. You knew what you wanted to do, you knew where you wanted to go, and you would go and do it. Nothing was left unsaid. You didn't need pushing to do things. You did them if you wanted to do them. Because they knew it wouldn't be any good pushing you if you didn't want to do it. Yeah, and you're still like that to this day, your grandmother says.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's what your grandmother's saying to you. So she's saying, you know, nothing goes past you unless you want it to. That's true of you, isn't it, as well? And that's been all through your life, it's been like that. And I don't know if you're retired, whether you're still working, but she is saying you're very good at your job. Very good at your job, okay? To the point of you could have done it with your eyes shut, really, you know. So she's saying, and you actually would have shown other people how to do the job as well. You teach them. Correct, yeah. That's what she's saying. So she said, in fact, you had some quite good students or apprentices, whatever, underneath you. You trained them well, is what your grandmother's saying. She's very proud of you. Very proud that you've done it, okay? And she said, you know, there was a time when you first thought, I'm not sure that I can do this. But once you got into it, it's a bit like mediumship. Once you got into it, it came quite easily to do, didn't it? That's what she's saying. All right, I've got somebody on a bicycle here, an older man on a bicycle. So could you take an older man on a bicycle?
Okay.
We can. He's pedalling like Mary up here, you know. And he said, I went everywhere on my bike. Went everywhere on my bike. You know, he said, it was much cheaper than getting a car, wasn't it? So he's quite a cheeky fellow, I think, as he's coming in here. He's got a good sense of humour. Okay. But he also likes to tell tales. Stories. You know, not tell tales of you, but you tell stories. He liked, and people, he said, you know what? He said, they believed it. A lot of them weren't true, I made them up. He said, but they really believed it. He said, so I let them believe it. As long as it brought a smile to the face, he didn't mind. Okay. And you're rather like that. You like, I'm not saying you tell tales, but I am saying you like to bring a smile to somebody's face or people's faces. You will help those that need it. Yes?
Yeah.
You're quite a sensitive soul, aren't you?
Yeah, hide it well.
Why? Why? Why should you hide it? You silly man. Don't hide it. You're very sensitive. You can't hide it when they're coming from spirit and telling you, can you now?
No.
But you're a very sensitive soul is what they're saying. Okay? And it's a good thing you are, because that's how you pick up when other people need some help. And then you do help them. Do you work as a healer?
I'm one of Willow's fledglings.
Oh, you're a fledgling, that's good.
I
That's
apologise for him in advance.
good. No, I'm not going to ask him to do anything. Yeah. So, but no, because you're on the right pathway, is what your grandmother says. She's very, very happy to see you on this pathway. Because she said you went through a really tough time and you really didn't know where you were going to go, but you found spiritualism.
Correct.
And that actually turned your life around for you. Yes?
Correct.
Took a little while, yeah. But you did turn it right round. And now she said she can't wait to see you working. The grandmother said, but beware, because she said she's going to come and join you on the platform. You won't know probably to begin with. But
Oh, she's been visiting.
yeah, I'm sure she has. She's a lovely lady, and you know, I love her attitude. I love her manner. She's a lovely lady. She really is a lovely lady, isn't she? So she'd be very proud to see you standing on a platform. But she will come and sit next to you. She said. So then, if he forgets anything, I can tell him a neck, can't I? What she's saying. All right. Okay. So we want to get as many as we can in tonight. So we could go on forever because your grandmother doesn't. She liked talking, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She liked talking, so I'm going to ask her to step back a little bit so we can work with some other people. All right.
Okay.
So thank you so much for working
Thank you.
with me. You've got so much love there. You've got a lot of people in the spirit world apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Your grandmother says, well, they're all coming over here gradually. You know that, don't you, boy? Get them over here gradually, she says. So,
Yeah.
okay. So that's good. But you're not going yet. You've got a lot more to do yet.
That's good, thank you.
Now, Willow's going to make sure that you have a lot more to do yet. Yeah? Okay. All right, so that's lovely. Can I come to you at the back then, love? There's a lady behind you.
Oh,
there.
sorry.
It's all right? It's all right? There's a lady behind you. Okay. All right, I have a gentleman coming in here for you, my love. As he's coming in here, he's standing right beside you, and he was quite a support to you in your life, or he had been throughout your life, this gentleman. Yes, you can understand that. Again, he's not telling me who he is, but he says, why do I need to tell you who I am? She knows who I am, and I think this would have been his character, wouldn't it? Yeah. So I'm not going to argue with him, darling. As long as you know who he is, that's fine. That's fine, because he's coming in here and he's saying, things have been really a bit tough for you lately, sweetheart. You know, you haven't known if you've been coming, you're going, you haven't known what is going on around you. Okay? And you get a bit concerned about it, is what he's saying. And he said, well, I'm trying from the other side. He said, I am actually trying to sort things out for you. He said, I'm putting thoughts in people's minds for them. Because if he was here, he would tell them. He would tell them. In no uncertain terms, he would tell them, wouldn't he? Yeah. He said he didn't mince his words. And he didn't suffer fools gladly. And I don't believe he made very old bones. It means that he wasn't an aged man. No, he didn't, darling, I know. Which is what he's telling me. He says, so I'm here and I've got a lot of life left yet. He said, but so have you. He said, you've got to wake up so that you've got a lot of life yet, darling. Lot to live yet. You've got lots of things to do, sweetheart. Okay. You have family here, don't you? Yeah. I know you have family in the spirit world, but you have family here, is what he's telling me. And you know, and they're all thinking about Christmas now. Yeah. And he enjoyed Christmas. He grumbled about how much money you spent on Christmas, but he enjoyed Christmas, yes? Yeah, that's what he said. I did used to grumble, he said, but you know what? It was a good time. We loved it because we got together with family. And that's what it's all about. And those are the times that you miss, my sweetheart, aren't they? Yeah. So he's saying, you know, you've got family, try and get with them at Christmas. All right, darling? Because he said that will lift it. He said, wherever you go at Christmas, I will be going. He'll come with you, sweetheart. Right? You feel his energy around you, don't you? Yes, you do. I know, because he says that. He said, well, I'll make sure she does. I'll make sure. Because you need to know that he's still there. He still loves you. He still cares about you. He'll always be there, is what he said. You know? He said we had a wonderful relationship, and we can still have that. Just open your mind just a little bit more, darling, is what he's actually saying to you. And then perhaps he'll do what he's doing here to me. Put thoughts in your mind. He said, I might even talk in her ear. You know? So, again, a hard worker, very surprised when he passed the Spirit early. Because as far as he's concerned, it was early. And I think everybody else said that as well. He went too quickly. But, you know, he said, we're all here, and we all have lessons to learn. He said the only way I could look at it is I'd learned the lessons I needed to on the earth plane. Okay? And he said he'd left a lot of love behind him as well, a lot of people who care. But he said, I had to move into the spirit world because he's still working there. Okay? He's still working there. So he said, you know me, I couldn't sit down and do nothing. So he still wants to work, my love. Okay? So, and he's saying to you, you know, you get a bit fed up at times, sweetheart. A bit lonely, don't you, is what he's actually saying. Yeah? And have you got the photographs out recently? Yeah, because he's looking over your shoulder, darling. Yeah, he's looking over your shoulder, looking at his photographs. But when you look at the photographs, can you not cry, he's saying? Can you remember the happy times with them? Yeah, you understand that, don't you? Because he said, you know, I will come to see her so I can get some tears. I want smiles out of her. He said, because she's got a beautiful face, and when she smiles, it makes it even more beautiful. Okay, and that's what he's saying. So just know, when you're looking at the photographs in the album, he's there. He will be there, he'll be looking at you. He remembers the good times of the photographs as well, that you've had in those photographs. But he wants to say thank you, because he had a good life with you. A very good life, sweetheart, all right? And he'll always love you, okay? Always. You miss his hugs, yeah?
Yes.
So before we go tonight, can I give you a hug from him? Okay, well, remind me when you're finished. Because otherwise I can't hug Rosie, she's going to be driving. So remind me before you go, darling, and I will give you a hug. And it's from him, with a lot of love. And he said, look forward to Christmas as much as you can, because you'll be with family. All right?
Yes.
So take it love. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Right, you ready to do a couple?
Yeah.
Do a couple each. And just
I was
keep
going to say she better be with family. We've just bought the meat for Christmas dinner, haven't we, Mum?
Yeah.
We just bought the meat today, didn't we?
Yeah, good. I'm not going to do mine yet.
Yeah. As I was sitting there, I get lots of people sort of popping in and out. So there's quite a few here, but none of them really talking to me yet because I'm not started. And as I say, I work very similar to Anne. I usually know where I'm going and who I've got and that sort of thing. But everybody's different, you know. Just as you're all different, so are the people who are coming in from the spirit world. But I work very much on emotion and want to bring the essence of those people through to you. So let's see who's going to come as you stay. Okay, yeah. I've got a gentleman here with me, and I feel he's quite a strong man, strong in mind, and yeah, fairly strong in body as well. I'd like to come to this gentleman here, please. Your father in spirit.
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, well, you know what I mean. Was your father a strong man, strong in his opinions and his mind?
Yes.
And he was very forthright as well. He wouldn't sort of pussyfoot around things. He would say it has exactly as he thought it. Lovely. But at least he's saying to me that you always knew where you stood with him. There's no ever faking the emotions. He would give you it right down the line. Lovely. And, oh gosh, it's really cold on the knees there. Would you have had a problem with his knees? Because I've just gone really cold round there.
No, he hasn't, but I have.
Ah, there you go.
All right. And it's just drawing my attention to it, you see.
Uh-huh.
What's wrong with it? maybe there's a draft as well. But yeah, he was drawing my attention to knees, and he's pointing out that it's the cold at this time and the damp that makes it so much worse. Yeah. He would have loved Christmas though, wouldn't he?
Yes,
He would have joined in, he would have been the first there with the tree, get it up, get it all decorated. Come on kids, you know, paper chains everywhere and things like that. Okay, lovely. And he would have liked a good gathering of the family too. And really taken part in it, you know, he was life and soul like that. Did he have a problem with his chest before he passed? Because I just suddenly felt really quite short of breath and a bit...
He did, yes.
Yes.
Before he passed.
Okay, thanks. You know, they just sort of bring these things in suddenly and I think, hang on, that's not me. So, yeah. He's also telling me that he worked hard whenever he was able to. I'm not sure what he quite means by that, but that's the way he gave it to me. So you should recognise that.
Yes.
Okay. And he's also making me feel that he would have been the sort of guy who stood up for the underdog, because I just heard underdog there, and so I knew that he would have, if you like, sort of wanted to help people who were worse off than him.
Yeah.
And it's making me feel that he would, he would, I just won't get this quite right, because I just got the feeling of socialism, but I'm not sure that it's going that far, but it's his own brand of it. He thought that everybody should have an equal standing in this life. Do you understand that with him?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right. He's saying to me that much as he'd like to be here, he says the way the country's going is... I can't put it in the way that he's saying it, okay? But, you know, he would have been very cross with a lot of people if he'd been here. But he's still retaining his sense of humour, because you know he would have had a really great sense of humour. Okay, lovely. And, but he would have hated it, as it is now. He would still have found things to be joyful about, because he was quite good at finding these, you know, things, little things in life that make it worthwhile. However, now, what did he like to say? He says he sees a lot of himself in you, okay, and he's very proud of you for this. And he's always there sort of, I tell you, he'll put thoughts in your mind as well, doesn't he?
Yes,
you know when he's around, don't you? Yeah. Now he'll put thoughts in your mind and he'll say, come on, he's urging you on. He said he don't want you to sort of stagnate. That sounds so rude, doesn't it? He doesn't want you to stagnate. He wants you to be out, despite your knees, be out, be with people, cheering them up, because you've got a way of doing that, haven't you?
Well, I think I have. Yes, I have.
Is that right?
Yes.
I'm just going to ask. Yes. Is that right, Willow? Is he good at cheering people up?
That's good. I think
That's
so.
all right, then. Does his best, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, your dad's here. He's after cheering you on for that. And he says, and I'm going to be there at Christmas. And you better get that tree up soon. Make the most of it. Cheer the place up, you know. Get the party started. Yeah. But you know, he's going to be there. He really is. And he'd enjoy a good Christmas dinner as well.
Yes, he did.
He did, yeah. He says he did. Yeah, we'll have Yorkshires with it as well, you know, everything, the whole lot. Yeah. So, yes, sets you up for the new year, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so he just know that he's gonna be with you even more than ever, you know, this month, going into the new year. And he's have you got any pets? Am I going
Yes.
on? Yeah, I have. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Because I just got the feeling of animals around you, and I wasn't sure if I was starting to move on. No, okay, so animals around you. He says, you know a good person if they're good with animals. And because because you don't have to, you know, an animal's not going to go around and tell everybody who knows if you're horrid to it. But if you're good to it, they'll know, they'll reward you, and you'll get the companionship and the love back from them in Spain. So he says he's pleased to see that as well. He is. But, you know he's with you, and just talk to him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they all love to be talked to, I tell you. They do. But take his love and his respect, and know he'll be there. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, who's next?
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's nice to have someone who's enthusiastic come through.
Yeah.
Is this my mic?
Yes, I moved it over.
Thanks. Okay, I've got a lady here. She's a bit quieter than that gentleman. She feels like she's quite a gentle lady, but she's also quite a strong lady. Sounds a bit weird. Now, I get the feeling that either this lady or whoever I'm coming to here loves horses. Now, I'll come to you. I don't know which one it is. One of you three. A lady who loves horses. No?
What, in spirit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't talk to
Don't like living people.
You get more sense out of those, don't you?
I've got no problem with living people. I just,
Ignore
I
the
just got the
jacket.
feeling of a lady and horses. No? Am I
Could be
being Claire
symbolic.
delusional?
No, it could be symbolic, couldn't it?
It could be. What, the strength?
Yes.
Could be, yeah.
Somebody's needing the strength.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody here knows a lady in spirit, quite a gentle soul, who loved horses. Okay. That's my bad then. Right, let's see. She's still here, so I'm gonna place her. But maybe it's my mind coming in with horses.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
She's a horse lady.
Yeah, I love horses. So
Yeah.
okay. Right. Okay. This lady, gentle soul she is, but she's one of these ladies who just gets on with things and is always doing things. And she liked the outdoors as well, and I know that she liked the outdoors. But she was always out and about and doing stuff. Now, I'm still drawn to you three. Okay. Let's see, who... Feeling now. I've been drawn to my ears, so I assume that there's probably a problem with her hearing, or something to do with that ear. And let's say she's not as tall as me. I only get a feeling of her size because I don't actually see them. Is your mother in spirit?
Yes.
And would she have been sort of medium size, not too tall, not too big? Quite a quiet lady, but
The one I was thinking of was not my mother, but my mother-in-law.
okay. To be honest, they're not going to tell me the difference.
Exactly.
Mothers and mother-in-laws, they're the same. But quite strong. She was busy all the time. Busy. Okay. That's why, because I kept being drawn towards you, so I knew it had to be. And she would also have been quite busy helping other people too. Not just for herself, but other people. She just loved to sort of, it's like a belonging thing with her. You know, she had to be part of the community that she was in. And people knew her. And people knew that she would always help if she could or was asked.
Yes.
Because she wasn't the sort who's going to just sort of butt into people's lives. But she would help if they were asked her to. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. She's making me very aware that she was not a gossip, but she did like to talk to people. And talking, of course, is a form of healing. And she was, as I say, she was gentle, but she had got her heart in the right place. Yeah?
Yes.
Not something you hear about mother-in-laws very often, is it? But, you know,
No, I did have
she
a
was.
mother-in-law.
Not my mother-in-law.
Mine's nice. I have to say that she's over there. I have to say
Oh,
it.
right.
I have to be nice.
Mine isn't, but that's another story. Okay, so would she have had a problem with her throat?
Not
Just
that
say
I'm
that.
aware of.
This might be me actually, because I'm just feeling a bit sore, and it might just be because I'm talking quite a lot and quite fast, so that does tend to make it a bit sore. Okay, now let's have a word. I do feel that she also, although I've said to you that she loved to talk to people and that, she was also quite able to withdraw into herself. And she quite enjoyed having her own space and her own time.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's making me aware that it was a healing thing for her. And she sometimes, if she got too many people around her, she'd get a bit agitated, a bit nervous.
Yes.
And she hated the big crowd. She wouldn't go, it's like going to London or something like that would have made her quite nervous. Yeah, okay. But for all that, I mean, she was a good friend to people.
Yes.
If she liked you, she liked you. If she liked you, she loved you.
Yes.
You know? And she's telling me that she did love you.
Oh, bless.
Oh, she does love you. No, that's wrong. I shouldn't say did she love, because she does love you. And she said you were always good to her. You were always kind. And she tried to reciprocate that back. Because she didn't want to, she was the sort who wanted to keep the whole family together and around her, because that made her happy. It's like sort of the mother duck thing, Having you as her friend kept her son close as well. Now, she's telling me that you're quite spiritual, and you could talk to dead people. You could if you tried, definitely. She said you've got that feeling around you. You've got that empathy. And she would like to be nicely dressed, your mother-in-law. Sorry, I go from one thing to another because I just sort of pick up on what they tell me. Yeah, she liked to be nicely dressed. She's sort of pulling getting me sorted. And she liked to keep herself warm as well.
Yes.
Because she did suffer, and I'm feeling my
Definitely,
joints,
yes.
now, and I don't think it's the cold that's in here, I'm just feeling them. I'm feeling a bit sort of like they're a bit more knobbly than they actually are. So, she's drawing that to me. Now, what would she like to say to you? Okay. Right, she's saying to me that you like to keep a nice family Christmas around, and she will be there, like this gentleman, she will be there, but she wouldn't have taken it in such gusto as he would have done. She would have enjoyed it, but she would have quietly enjoyed it, But, so she will be there, of course, but she's saying, look after yourself through the winter. Be careful. Just take things gently.
Yes.
You would know the reason she's saying that, wouldn't you? Because it's a funny thing for someone to come and say to me, but you would know there has to be a reason for her to say that to me.
Yes.
She's saying, you look after yourself, and by springtime you'll be just set for it and ready to start again and bloom and
something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel that she would have looked forward to spring, and she would have sort of hibernated a bit during the winter, but come spring she's all out and all full of the joys and that sort of thing. And she says that's what she'd like to see for you. So keep yourself well, keep happy and warm, tucked up nice and warm, because you've made me feel all cuddly again. And be there ready for the joys of spring. Take her love.
Thank you.
Because there's loads of it, and you'd know when she was around you as well, wouldn't you?
I know someone's around me, but I don't know who.
She's around, and she'll be around your right hand shoulder. Okay, so when you feel a warm feeling on your right hand shoulder, just talk to her and she'll come closer. It just encourages them. That's for everybody really, because if you feel someone around, just talk to them. Then it encourages them to come more and more. Yeah. So enjoy.
Thank you.
And keep yourself safe.
Thank you.
So if I get again,
Yeah, again, you can.
change these a little.
Yep, swap them over.
Yeah. Not we've got a foot in mouth, but you don't know, do you?
Well, I haven't got COVID.
No, just tested it out. Yeah. I know that. Because if you had, you wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't.
Well, I might, but you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
So, okay, can I come to you, sweetheart, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Okay. I've got a lady coming here. I'm feeling a mother's love
Yeah.
as she's coming close to you, sweetheart. And I think life's a bit tough for your mum, going.
Yeah,
And that's what she's giving me here. She says, there were parts of my life I enjoyed, but my life was tough. It was hard.
It was.
It was very hard
Yeah.
to take care of the family, But she said, I did the best I could.
She did.
She's not a very tall lady. I'm
Yeah.
5'2". She's probably about that, maybe slightly smaller. And she's quite petite, she says. And she went through a stage of being bigger, but
Yes.
she lost that weight, she tells me, towards the end of her life.
She did. Yeah.
Okay. She's a beautiful soul. She's a beautiful soul. And I
Thank
think you knew where you stood with her as well.
You did.
Because Lord help you if you said something or did something wrong. And she actually
the truth to her was the most important thing.
That's right, yeah.
Because when you were a child, if you told her, if she asked you if you'd done something, if you lied, oh boy, you were in trouble.
Yes.
She said, I'd rather they told me if they'd done something wrong, you know, than lie to me, because you're in a lot more trouble then if you do that.
Yeah.
And that's what she's saying. That's her. That's just exactly how she was, darling.
Yes.
And that's how she is. She said, I'm still doing up here. I'm still up here. I think she was a busy lady.
She was.
And
yeah.
she tried to take everything in her stride. Although
Yeah.
things were tough, she did face up to things.
She did.
She
yeah.
did. She's a lovely lady that she faced up to things. And you know, we try and tell everybody that. If you face up to the lesson that's in front of you, you'll go through it a lot easier.
You do.
Not to say that you won't get another one, but you will at least
Yes.
and this is your mum. This
Yes.
is exactly how she was when she was on the earth plane, sweetheart.
She was,
Okay.
yeah.
She said, yes, I love the kids, and she
did.
loved the grandchildren too.
She did.
And now there's great grandchildren, she's telling me.
Yes.
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 And that's what she's telling me. She visits them.
Does she?
She does
Oh, I
visit
thought
them.
she
Yes,
did.
she does. There's one little girl. There's one little girl that she visits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she knows I'm there.
Does she?
She knows I'm there. Yes.
Okay.
So she said it's lovely because children, you know, in their innocence, they can pick up everything.
Mm.
We're born with all this,
Yeah.
but you know, as we grow up, we just leave it behind, sadly.
Yeah.
But there is a little girl, as she's saying, so she's going to be a great granddaughter to you, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to your mum, definitely.
Yes, she's my mum, yeah.
Yes, to great granddaughter to your mum. She's a beautiful little girl,
Yeah.
beautiful little soul. So
Yeah.
she said she'll go far, that one.
Oh,
She'll
will
go
she?
far.
Yeah.
But she said, I do love to just sit with her and talk with
Ah.
her, yeah. And so she says, sometimes you'll think she's talking to herself, but she's not. She's
Yeah.
answering me.
Ah.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
sweetheart. So she's just saying, she knows how tough life was. You knew how tough life was.
Yes.
And the children all had their own things to do in life
Yes.
because you had to help mum to get on
Yes.
and,
Yeah.
and get through the day, if you like.
Mm.
And she's saying, and there's been parts of your life, darling, which have echoed hers.
Exactly, yes.
That's what
I
she's
know
saying.
what
It's
you're
almost
saying,
like, you know, when I've watched you, it's almost like I'm going back to what I went through. And
Yes.
you have been through some of the same things that your mum did, sweetheart.
I have, yes.
That's what she's telling me. But she said, you know, you're bright, you're cheerful, okay?
Yes, yes.
So she said, and you just get on with it, just the same as I used to. She said, and I love to see that determination.
Yes.
That's what she says, you have determination. If you say you're going to do something, you do it.
You do it. Yeah, I do.
Like
yeah.
she
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
You know, not wait till next week and think, oh, I didn't do that. Shall I do it this week? You know, because she said, you're not a tomorrow lady either. If you can do what can be done today, darling, you do it.
I'll do it.
You do it. Because, you know, so many people leave it till tomorrow.
Mm.
And then tomorrow never comes. Because when you get there, it's today again, isn't it?
Yes.
So it never comes. And therefore it gets put off and put off. Okay. And you also do not live in the past. You are, there are sometimes you visit the past,
Yes.
you know. She's saying sometimes, she said, but it doesn't do to dwell in the past.
No, it doesn't.
Because that's your private history.
Yes.
And you know, it's like any history, you can't change it. So if you go back and think, well, if I hadn't have done that, or should I have done this, it's no good doing that, because what we did, we did. You know, and I think all of us,
Life, couldn't you?
yeah, but all of us, somewhere in our life, have done things we regretted.
Mm.
But we did them because we felt at that time we needed to do them. Yes? Okay. So we learned from it, that's the plan, that you learned from it. When
Yes.
you did it and it wasn't quite right for you,
Mm.
you still learned from it.
You do.
And she said she's watched you. She's watched
Yeah.
you going through this since she's passed away.
Oh,
You know,
bless her.
she's
Yeah.
she's a lovely soul,
Mm.
and somebody who would help other people. She said, I didn't have much. We
She
never
did.
had much,
No,
did we?
No, no.
But she could make a good meal out of just about nothing.
That's
You
right.
know, and if she had any visitors, she'd go into the pantry and have a look at, well, do that, and I'll do that. And she
Yes.
always managed to scrap a big meal together. She put it together to people,
Yeah,
didn't she?
yeah.
And that's what she's saying. And she said, I enjoyed doing that as well. She enjoyed it.
She did,
It was done on the hop, because she said, because sometimes people turned up and you didn't know they were coming.
No, that's
So
right.
it was done on the hop, she said. But she said, I got used to that when you
Mm.
were all children and we didn't have the financial ease that a lot of people have got now. You know,
No.
she knew it was difficult, it was hard. It was hard.
It was hard for her.
She's
yeah.
also talking about school, sweetheart.
Yeah,
She's not sure that you really liked school, going to school.
I didn't.
No, no. Well, I was trying to be nice, wasn't I? I was trying to say it nicely. You know, she said, you know, when you went to school, we had to push you to go to school.
Yeah,
And if you could bunk off, you did.
I didn't. But I know what you
No,
mean,
you know what
yeah.
she's talking about?
Yes.
I think one of your siblings did.
Yes.
Your brother. Yeah, he did. He did.
Yes.
So she said, I know all these things now. They think I'd never find out. But, you know, from where I am now, I can see all these things. I know what they did. I know what they got up to. She said, you know, they think I didn't know. But she said, I had my own ideas, but now I do know. I do know. So, yeah, so she's saying, when you first went to school, sweetheart, you were a little bit shy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so she said it's difficult to get you there for that reason,
Yeah.
but then after you didn't like it anyway, so. You really didn't, did you? You couldn't wait to leave school.
I couldn't then.
You couldn't wait to leave school and get out there and get a job.
That's right, yeah.
You know, and about 6 years into it, you thought, oh dear, I wish I didn't
Done
have to
this.
go to work. She said, can't please you, can you?
No.
So she's laughing as she says it. So I know she had a good sense of humour. Your dad's there as well, darling.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm saying he's in the spirit world.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
not gonna-
he is. Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
he
gonna put
is.
him down,
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah, he is.
So
yeah.
he's just stepped forward and he said, do you know what, I often couldn't get a word in edgeways with her.
No, we couldn't.
And she always thought she had the last word. Always thought she had the last word. He said, sometimes I let her have the last word, but not always. Okay. So he says, but she had to. It was just her, wasn't it? It was just her. So he said, okay, we might have gone at it sometimes. He said, but you know what, we did love each other. And we love each
Yeah,
other.
they
They still
did,
do.
yeah.
They still do, darling.
Oh, bless him.
Your dad was a busy man. He said, I had to be. He said, kept getting the children in, and we'll get the money somewhere, haven't we? But you know, I think he didn't realise first of all where the children were coming from. But he said, I soon found out, didn't I? I soon found out. You know, so he said, but he said, you know what? I loved those times, your dad saying, when
Yeah.
when you were all small.
Yeah.
We didn't have much,
Yeah. No, we
but
didn't.
we had each other.
Mm.
You know, we had a lot of love in the family.
Yes,
A lot.
we did, yeah.
And this is what he's saying. And you knew that your parents loved you.
Yes. Yeah,
And your
we
mum
did,
said she didn't tell you she loved you.
yeah. No, she never did.
She had a bit of a problem showing her emotions, you know.
She did,
She
yeah.
never told you she loved you. She said,
No.
I need to tell you that now, I love you. I've always loved you.
I loved
Didn't know
it.
how to say it.
No,
Didn't know how
no.
to say it, okay?
No, we know.
And she's
yeah.
saying, things are going a little bit awry around you at the moment, darling.
Yes.
You know, shall I go that way, that way, that way? What shall I do? So she's saying, but you know inside what you want to go, don't you? You know
Yes.
what you want to have.
Oh, yes,
happy,
yes,
don't you?
yes.
Then go for that one, darling.
Okay.
That's the road you should take.
Yeah, yeah.
All right?
Okay.
Don't bother about the others.
No.
Don't worry if you've got to upset somebody because you decided to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Because
yes,
chances
I know,
are you could upset somebody.
Yeah.
So, but they will learn that
Yeah.
this is your pathway. Okay?
Okay.
And you've got to be happy on your pathway, sweetheart.
Yes.
So she's just saying you've got to be firm.
Okay, I will be. Yeah.
There's a situation around you, you have to be firm.
Mhm.
Okay? And she said make your mind up, make your decision, but don't backtrack on it.
No. Okay.
Once you've made your decision, stay
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'll
she's
yeah.
quite adamant about this.
Okay.
Don't go back, don't look back. She says, nothing's gained by doing that.
No,
If you've
no.
made your decision, go for
Go
it.
for it. Yeah. Okay. I've got it. Yeah.
Such a lovely, lovely lady she is. Your dad would have been out in the garden, he would have grown vegetables so that you had something
He
to
did
eat,
at one
didn't he?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he said, well, we always have plenty of fresh vegetables, that was the
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and he was always pleased with that, you know.
Oh.
I don't know whether he had apple trees and pear trees, but somebody did.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
Yeah, we
I've
did.
got
Yeah,
them,
we had.
because he's just
yeah.
showing me those as well.
Yeah.
So he said, you don't eat as well as you did in those days.
No. No.
We don't, do we now?
No.
Let's face it, we go for things for quickness, is what we say. We do, don't we? Just get something from the supermarket, put it in the oven and that's ready. You know, half an hour and it's ready.
Yeah.
So your mum says, yeah, but you know, what you miss is the pleasure it gives you.
Yeah.
The pleasure it gives you to make a meal and to put it in front of somebody, see how much they enjoy it. And that's what she loved to do.
She
Yeah?
did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sweetheart. She had a big kitchen table.
Yes, she used to.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a big kitchen, just showing me a big
Yeah,
kitchen
yeah,
table.
yeah.
So well, it had to be big to get them all round, didn't it?
It
But,
did.
but that table was used for everything, wasn't it?
Yes.
Everything, yes. And it's like my grandmother, that used to be scrubbed as well, that table. Yeah, that's what she used to do as well. But she's saying, you know, I'm here because I want you to make your decision
Okay.
and stick with it, darling.
Okay. I will
That's
do,
what.
yeah.
That's why
I
she's
know.
here today, darling.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Yes,
she says
I
you
know.
stick
She's
with it,
talking
won't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
All right. And she says, have a lovely Christmas, won't you?
Oh,
She knows
yeah.
you. She said, I will, because I'll be with all the children. she'll be amongst all the children.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She
Yeah,
just loves the
she's
children.
children,
Because she
yeah.
said, well, you know, when I got older, I've got time for the children then.
Yeah.
My own, I didn't have. You know, grandparents,
Yeah.
you have more time,
You do.
don't you?
Yeah. You
but
do.
when you're parents, you're rushing around to work and to do this and to do that. So she's saying, I love having them, I love seeing them, love being them. I can see her, it's almost like she could sit in the middle and have all the children around her. She'd love that.
She would, yeah, she loved them.
Okay, so we'll take her love, won't you?
I would.
And no, we give it to people who would understand.
Yeah.
People who believe that she's still there.
Yes.
Yeah, because not everybody does in the family, she says.
No.
Not everybody would believe you've been talking to a lady who talks to dead people. You know?
No,
So that's
no,
yes,
no.
right. So she don't bother with them then if they don't know, don't want to know.
Okay.
Don't bother. But those that do, just give her love, won't you?
I will do, yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a dog. I can't go. It's a dog. It's
Oh,
a dog.
yes.
Because I've just felt a tail hit me on the leg, so I know there's a dog in the
Oh, yes, there is, yes.
Yeah,
I
just
know.
coming to say thank you. Because the dog was given a lot of love and a lot of care. Given a lot of attention as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It was,
So
yeah.
again, he's just coming to say hello.
Ah.
All right, and thank you for
Okay.
taking care of me, is what he's saying. You never know who you're going to talk to when you're working, do you? I have talked to horses, believe it or not. And it wasn't until after I was giving them a message, I think, I've just been talking to a flipping horse. And you don't think about that at the time. You really don't. Can I come to you?
Yes.
Right. Okay. There's a gentleman in the spirit world, so I don't think was an old man when he passed to the spirit world.
Thank you very much.
He's coming in here. He's taller than me. It's not difficult, 5'2", is it? But you're not very tall, I don't believe. And he wasn't very tall as he's coming in here.
Yeah.
But he was a man who really wanted to put the world to rights.
Right,
You know, he'd talk about these things and he wanted to put the world to rights. You know, sometimes he'd get a little bit upset because he couldn't put the world to rights, you know. But, you know, he said, well, you know, if none of us tried, he said, everything would be staying the same, wouldn't it? So we have to try. We have to try, he said. And I feel this gentleman would tell you the way things were.
Yes.
He didn't mince his words at all, did he?
No.
And if you upset him, oh boy, you knew all about it. You knew all about it. You know, and he says, yes, I didn't let them get away with it if they upset me. But he would tell them, if it was somebody in the street upset him, he'd have to tell them. It didn't matter who they were, he would tell them. And he would say, look, you know, that's not good, you can't do that. I tell you what, if you gave him a box on Hyde Park Corner, he'd be well away, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But he would put the world to rights then. And he's doing it up here, you know that, don't you? I'm doing it here. So he said he's found a lot of people up there that listen to him.
Right.
He said they're a bit more patient, I think. A bit more patient, okay. All right, my love. So now he's actually saying to you, you've got to get your finger out and do something, sir. Is there something you've been supposed to be doing and you're not doing it, you keep putting it off? Could be something, yeah, sort of. No, he said, no sort of, boy. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. He said, right, now you're not doing it. And you're supposed to do it. Okay. And you know, the trouble is, well, I'll tell you, all of us ladies in here, when we want you to do something, we ask you to do it. And then, you know, when it doesn't get done, what do? They say, we're nagging you. Is that right, ladies?
Yes.
And it's not nagging, we're just asking what we asked for in the first place.
We're reminding.
So there's something you need to get
Repeatedly.
on with, boy.
Yeah.
That's what this gentleman said. He's a very good man. And the truth meant a lot to him, like that lady over there, her mother did. The truth meant a lot to him. And he didn't bend the truth. Okay?
No.
He didn't bend the truth either, he said. Because he met a lot of people who did bend the truth to suit themselves, is what he's saying. Oh, goodness, to give him a soapbox, eh? Because he's ready to go, you know, bless him. So, anyway, what he's saying to you, you're working, aren't you, young man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But he's saying what you're doing, you've got a lot of knowledge up there, darling, you're not using it in the way you could be using it. You understand what he's saying to you?
Sort of.
No, not sort of, isn't there? I think what sort of is, I don't know yes or no. But he's saying there's a lot of knowledge up there, my boy, and you are not using it.
Right.
Okay? You could be, you know, we give them knowledge so that we can share it. And
Yeah.
that's what he's saying to you, you should be sharing your knowledge
Right,
with a few more people. You understand why he's saying that? It's there, use it with you.
Right.
Okay. He said you've worked to get that, to gain that knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you can share it. You don't have to hold on to it, he said. You
Yeah.
can share it with other people.
Yeah.
Okay? And he said, they think you're clever then if you do that, boy. You know, if you share this knowledge, they think you're really clever. You know, and they come back to you. That is a problem, they'll come back to you. But I do believe this gentleman, he liked to help people.
Yeah.
But he did have to do it his way. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
his way, you
Yeah.
understand that, don't you? And I think, you know,
when I look back, when he looks back, you know, he's saying, when you were younger, you know, you didn't always do things his way. Okay? But he expected you to. And he said, I know now that was very wrong of me to expect you to do it my way, because you've got to find your own way. Okay?
Yeah.
So he said, and it did cause a few harsh words at times, he said, because I thought you should do this, when you said, no, I want to do that, and this is how it went. But he's very pleased with what you've done with your life now. He said, I can tell you I'm proud of you. I wouldn't have told you that if I'd have been here. All right? You know, you understand, he wouldn't have told you then. But he said, but I can now, I can say it from where I am now, I'm really proud of you, boy. Okay? He said, you've done it your way, and it's worked. You know? He said, I forget sometimes, he said, I did it my way, and it worked. So he said, so why shouldn't you do it your way, and it worked? But he expected you to follow his footsteps. But it didn't work. It wouldn't work. You're different, two totally different people.
Yeah.
You're much more sensitive than he ever was.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right. You are a very sensitive soul, and sometimes that can be a bit of a pain, because you can feel other people's energies, their negative energies, you can feel those.
Yeah.
And can you please just push them away, is what he's saying. All right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it makes you become negative yourself. And you know that you've been there, you can see in a room full of people, and you've got one negative person and it can go around that room. So you must always stay positive, is what he wants to say.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Always stay positive, because people will feed on that energy, and that's fine. You can give them positive energy, then they will move forward as well as you. All right, darling. Somebody would have liked reading books. If somebody in the spirit world, because I've got a shelf full of books here. You haven't still got some at home? Have you lots of books at home? No. No. But there is somebody who would enjoy reading, yeah.
Right.
You don't read then, obviously.
No, I don't.
You don't read, no. But there is somebody in there, there's a gentleman who enjoys reading books.
Right, yeah.
Okay? So he's saying, it's amazing what you can get from a book, boy. Amazing what you can get out of a book.
Yeah.
But you're either a reader or you're not a reader. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
I think so. I mean, I have 4 children. 3 of them are readers, and one is, she's not really, she's a bit slow, but she will do it in the end. But, you know, so that's just the way it is with you. Okay?
Yeah.
He's not putting you down, he's not doing anything, because he says, you've done it your way. Like
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's song, I did it my
Yeah.
way. Yeah? Okay. Well, he did it his way. He did things his way. So he's very happy that you have cottoned on to the fact that it's going to be the way you want it. But, having said that, you keep an open mind.
Yeah.
You don't tell other people they've got to do this, they should do that. You keep an open mind, and you understand that, you know, everybody has their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
And you actually appreciate that. You do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you try not to judge people too, he's saying. All right? Because he did. He did judge.
Yeah.
And he said, sometimes you do, boy, but you do try not to. You do, I know. He just said that to me. Sometimes you do, boy. So he said, but he did judge people. And he said, it doesn't get you anywhere. He said, because, you know, sometimes you can look at some poor soul and think, oh, look at this state of it. But you know what? There, but for the grace of God, go I. That could be you there. That's what the speech actually saying to you. Okay? So he's saying, you know, just carry on with what you're doing. You're on the right pathway. You're on the right pathway. You feel you're on the right pathway anyway.
Yeah.
But you may have to just go off a little bit, because you've got to share some of his knowledge, is what he's actually saying to you.
Right. Yeah.
So, and he said, you'll know when the time's right to be able to do it, because he will come back into you, into your memory. You know, I
Yeah.
think sometimes you feel that you see something out the corner of your eye. There's a few of us do. I bet some of you have, haven't you? You actually think you've seen, and then you turn your head and they're gone. Yes? So you see them out your peripheral. Yes, you have as well, sweetheart, yeah. It's surprising how many of us do. But you see, spirit work are much higher and much faster vibration than we do. So they're zooming past you, you see. So you don't catch it, you just suddenly see this flash there. And that's what it is. So next time you do, say hello.
Right.
Go say hello. Come back and say hello. Or ask them to slow it down. Ask them to slow it down. Because they tend to forget we can't work as quickly as them. You know, so. But just, he will say, I'm pleased to see you here, boy. He wouldn't have come through that door when he was here.
No.
He would not have come through that door. He said, you never would have caught me there in a million years, he said. But he can see what it's done for you.
Yeah.
So he wants to say, who's the fool then? He said, I was the fool, because I could have learned a lot more, couldn't I?
Yeah.
All right? So he's saying, you know, it's in your blood. You're going to help people. You're going to do, but you will do it in the nicest possible way. Okay.
Yeah.
Not like is it your dad?
No, the granddad.
Your granddad, well, dad's dad then, is it? Yes. Because this is what he's actually saying to you. He was a tough one, you know.
Yeah.
But he did love people. But he didn't
Yeah.
tell them he loved them.
No,
He
no.
expected them to know. I think that's the thing. He expected you to know what he wanted you to do as well.
Mm.
Okay. And if you didn't, well. But he is here with a lot of love for you now, sweetheart. And you've got quite a family in this great world, haven't you?
There's a few up there now.
Yeah, there is a few up there now, so that's what he's saying. They'll get together. He said, we've got Christmas coming, haven't we? So he said, I hope you're going to be with some of the family for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so is he. But he'll be with the ones over there, he says, and you'll be the ones here. All right? Okay, so please take his love. But
Thank
no,
you.
you're on the right pathway, but you have got to share some more knowledge. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. You next.
Yeah, sure.
Let's stop again. Right, I've got a load of things.
She's making me feel she would have been a very nicely presented lady. I feel I've got to come to you because I'm sitting there being drawn to you. And this lady would have had very nice cheekbones because I was feeling them. I was sitting there. Ooh, nice cheekbones. So, and I do, and I feel that she doesn't look dissimilar to you. So I'm believing that it's your mother or your mother's mother. Would I be right there in spirit?
I don't know about the cheekbones, but it could be.
Well, you've got actually beautiful
She
cheeks.
did it with golden
There you
cheek.
go. It's noticed more than you have. Yeah. Right, I do feel she was quite a smiley lady as well, and she would have enjoyed a good sense of humour. And in saying that, she's telling me that she could be quite strict, especially when you were small, because she had to keep the order, you know. Yeah. Yeah, she says it's a bit pointless when you grow up because, you know, you're going to do what you like anyway. And she, as you grew up, I do feel that she started to be more like a friend than a mum. Would you understand that?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Okay. Perhaps it's that she viewed you more as a friend than a daughter, you know. It's because obviously she's telling me from her point of view, okay? Now, would she have had problems with breathing or cough before she went? She's
No, not breathing, I don't think, no.
okay. That stays me then. Right, okay. Now, as I said, she would have looked after herself and she would have always got dressed up nicely before she left the house. I'm not saying that she put on a posh frock every time or anything like that, but she was clean and tidy. Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I don't feel she had the money to go and buy posh frocks all the time, or not to spend on that, anyway.
I think that she wouldn't do it. She could do
No.
it, but she wouldn't do it.
Yes, okay,
She
that's...
didn't like to do it.
No, she wouldn't have wanted to spend that on herself. No, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, she says that actually she didn't have a bad life. Some parts she did make. She wasn't always happy with her life, but she said she didn't have a bad life. Do you understand what I mean? And she's a bit. One minute she's projecting herself as quite happy and outgoing, and then the next minute it's almost like she's got a bit of, not depression, but she just makes me feel that she doesn't quite appreciate what she's got.
she was somewhere quite happy, so I don't know.
Okay. She's just making me feel that sometimes she just... She knew she should be happy and she couldn't quite get it. And perhaps she hid those feelings quite well, because she's telling me that she was quite a friendly soul. She had quite a few friends, and she didn't have to worry too much, you know? She didn't have... It's like some people are always worrying about what's coming around the next corner, and she just didn't really. She didn't have... She doesn't feel that she had too many problems in life, but sometimes she just didn't appreciate what she did have. There we go. So there's no pleasing everybody all the time, let's face it. Would I be right in saying that she actually liked dancing? Yeah, because I'm just getting the feeling of the swirling movements, and I feel that she would have done this with you when you were a child, sort of swung you around and
Well, I used to dance when I was young, but maybe it's to do with that, I don't know.
yeah.
But she liked dancing.
She would have liked dancing, definitely. Yeah, and she liked music as well, and the way it made her feel, you know, because she always sort of moved a bit when there was music on. Not necessarily dancing, but you know, some people sort of sway a bit when there's music on. That's what I feel with her. Okay. And I do feel also that sometimes she'd keep herself to herself. Most of the time she was all really friendly with people, but sometimes she liked to have a little bit of time to herself. But not often, you know, but sometimes she just liked her own little bit of space. Now, I'm also getting the feeling of a gentleman who's coming in. Now, I'm not sure. I feel that he was connected to her, but whether it was your father. Now, no, okay. This is the feeling I'm getting. It's like... Sorry?
Her father.
Oh, it could be, yeah. I just feel that there is a connection, but it's not close, you know. He's making me feel that he was quite a hard worker, and he would have liked to be outdoors a lot. Not understanding that with her father.
I didn't know her father, so I don't actually know.
Okay, because I'm also feeling like heavy goods vehicle type things, you know, big vehicles with this gentleman as well, whether it's lorries or, I don't know, even trains, I don't know. But I'm just feeling big vehicles, you know, him standing next to something that's a lot bigger than him. No? Okay, let's just see why. Would you understand this gentleman? To do with lorries. I'm sure it's lorries, it might be buses, but it's a big vehicles.
Not really.
No.
I had a granddad that once helped out on a lorry, but it's not really
Well, it's all right. No, I'm not going to go. No. I'm not going to go with once held up. No. Okay.
I know he had a job delivering lemonade or something.
Yeah, the Corona man. Was it Corona man?
A steam lorry. Oh wow.
He was a whites man.
Oh, white, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. That's not saying that
That's
couldn't
Christmas
come
lemonade,
through.
that is, that's
Just
quality
because
stuff.
Your mum's gone through, he couldn't come through as well, especially if you two were attached. You know, so. Would he have smoked quite, I don't know if it was chain smoking, but he would have smoked as he's driving this?
I don't know that he drove it. He was more
Okay.
like just a young lad, like, you know, when you sort of leave school and you're like a driver's mate.
Sorry.
He did smoke.
Yeah, it's just I'm seeing this guy next to a lorry, and he's smoking as well. I'm not sure that doesn't seem to me to fit. I'm afraid. Let's come back to your You would know that she's around you, wouldn't you? Do you get... Right, okay. I'm being drawn to a picture on the wall, and I'm feeling that sometimes it just tilts a little bit, which it would annoy me incredibly.
It might be one at her home.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, this is something she's doing to get attention. This is. She's making me feel that she does move things slightly so that to try and get attention, because I don't feel that you're actually paying her the attention when she does come around. Okay, which I know my mother does it if I don't take notice of her, because she knows that it will drive me crazy mad. But I'm just getting the feeling that things are getting moved slightly, and if you see this, just talk to her and tell her not to do it, or just say, yes, I know you're here, that sort of thing, because she wants to communicate with you. She wants you to acknowledge that she's there. She wants you to feel that she's here for you. They only come with love. There's nothing else apart from that. They only come with love. And she likes to come and be with you. It's only natural. And see, you could talk to her if you wanted to. You could. Do you do classes?
I have a circle, yes.
You have a circle. Circle. New Year's resolution. Circle. It's amazing what you find out about yourself and about how to communicate with spirit. It's a wonderful thing, especially when they cooperate. And with Rosie, who just wants to butt
It's
in.
like herding cats sometimes, isn't it? It's just, you
is.
try and you're
Yeah.
like, no, it's
Yeah.
not happening.
It certainly is. But especially at this time of year, and this goes for everyone, at this time of year, your loved ones want to come because they know you're at home probably more, and you're probably cuddled up and, quiet and that sort of thing, until Christmas turns up. And then when you're at Christmas, you're all celebrating and everyone's around, so they want to come in and get to see you and enjoy themselves. I always put a spare place at my table. I've got so many people, of them. But I know that my dad will come.
He always does.
He always does, absolutely.
He gets in
Guaranteed.
anywhere. He does, I dad.
He constantly, yeah. And I'm not suggesting you go as crazy as that, but, always also say a prayer for all of those in the family who we miss. That sort of thing at Christmas time. Brings them closer. It brings them to come and see me rather than going to see my sister who's a miserable what's So they know they're going to have a good time at my house. But, she would come more, and she would, and she wants to come and teach you as well. I don't know if that's how she would have been when you were younger, but she's telling me she wants to come and help you to learn more about it, and it would make her happy, you know, that you're, because she'd feel that bit closer to you, you know? Yeah. I know it's a funny concept, but, you know, that's how we all start. Then you become crazy people like us who talk
Yeah.
to dead people.
You were never going to do it, Rosie, were you?
Never.
Never. I said to her years ago, you do this, Rosie. Oh, I will not. You're not giving me that. No way, she said. But she does now.
One of our mediums told me off every time she came here for like 6 years until I got into Circle Year.
Mm.
Yeah, Effie Rogers, she told me off every single
yeah.
time. She told me off every single time.
Yeah.
The message finally got across then, did it?
Please,
It just wasn't my
know
time.
that your mum loves
That's
you
right.
very much.
It does have to be
I
right.
know that she will be with you.
Yeah.
And hopefully she won't bring this bloke. I don't know where he came from then.
Something to do with her family.
But it's not, it's just really, it's just standing there and I'm not,
I don't know.
okay, if you're not going to communicate, I'm not going to, I'll acknowledge you're there and that's it. But she certainly would have communicated. Yeah. And she wants you to know she loves you. And come circling you.
God bless me.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I read something,
Yes,
please, Willow?
yeah, and if one of you could close afterwards, that'd be
Oh, yes.
amazing.
Yeah, of
Thank
course,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
For this one, I always like to read something at the end, just for those who didn't get a message. I like to see you going out the door smiling still, all right? So this is say, be careful what you buy at a church bazaar. And it's called the Baptist White Lie Cake. Have you ever told a white lie? You're going to love this, especially all of the ladies who bake cakes for church events. Have we got any ladies here like that? No? Yeah, okay, right, you listen to this then. You listen to this then, please. Right. Alice Grayson was to bake a cake for the Baptist Church Ladies Group in Tuscaloosa, but she forgot to do it until the last minute. She remembered it in the morning of the cake sale, and after rummaging through cabinets, found an angel food cake mix, and she quickly made it while drying her hair and dressing, and helping her son to pack for his scout camp. Now when she took the cake from the oven, the scent had dropped flat, and the cake was horribly disfigured, and she exclaimed, "Oh dear, it's not time to bake another cake." Now this cake was important to Alice because she did so want to fit in at her new church and in her new community of friends. So being inventive, she looked around the house for something to build up the centre of the cake. She found it in the bathroom, a roll of toilet paper. Right? She plunked it in and then covered it with icing. Right? Not only did the finished product look beautiful, it looked perfect. And before she left the house to drop the cake by the church and head for work, she woke her daughter up and gave her some money and specific instructions to be at the cake sale at the moment it arrived. It opened at 9:30, and to buy the cake back and bring it home. Now, when the daughter arrived at the sale, she found the attractive, perfect cake had already been sold. So Amanda grabbed her cell phone and called her mum. Alice was horrified. She was beside herself. Everyone would know. What would they think? She'd be ostracised, talked about, ridiculed. All night she lay awake in bed thinking about people, pointing fingers at her and talking about her behind her back. Now the next day, Alice promised herself she'd try not to think about the cake and would attend the fancy luncheon and bridal shower at the home of a fellow church member and try and have a good time. She did not really want to attend because the hostess was a snob, who more than once had looked down on her nose the fact that Alice was a single parent and not from the founding families of Tuscaloosa. But having already RSVP'd, she couldn't think of a believable excuse to stay home. Now the meal was elegant. The company was definitely upper crust, Old South, and to Alice's horror, the cake in question was presented for dessert. So Alice felt the blood drain from her body when she saw this cake. So she started out of her chair to tell the hostess all about it, but before she could get to her feet, the mayor's wife said, "What a beautiful cake." Alice, still stunned, sat back in her chair when she heard the hostess, who was a prominent church member, say, "Thank you, I baked it myself." And a relieved Alice smiled and thought to herself, "God is good." Yes, that's there you go. All right, closing the head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Please join me in prayer. Divine Father, Holy Spirit, we thank you for this evening, for the comradeship and for the love that's been in this room tonight. Please keep us all safe on our journeys home and safe for the rest of the time until we can meet again. And please bring our loved ones close to us and to join us in our daily lives. And we ask that everything be done in your name, which is love. Amen.
Thank you, that was amazing. Our next one is our Christmas one with Alan Orbiston, so I hope everyone can join us.